Retribution Hierarchy. Growing beyond a loose association of mage hunters has required massive shifts in the Retribution's organizational and hierarchical structure. The organization is still undergoing these fluctuations, with House Nyar having taken the initiative to assume operational control of its military on every conceivable level. While the old guard among the mage hunters appreciates such military expertise, reliance on strict discipline and chain of command is not always immediately embraced. The Retribution is led by the 9 Voices, who order its army divisions. These divisions are in turn led by the top-ranking Dawn Guard officers, each assisted by an equivalently ranked veteran mage hunter. Dawn Guard officers direct the actions of similarly ranked House Guard officers, and the chain of command descends from there to lesser officers and junior mage hunters. Addendum: Retribution Operational Regions. The Retribution has divided Western Emerald into a variety of operational regions where Retribution cells establish a variety of safe houses and bases. Most of these bases are small and isolated, either hidden in the wilderness or concealed in cities among those few exiled Iosans living amongst humanity. The scale and resources of these bases vary considerably, but most are kept small to avoid detection. The Retribution has had to take particular care in placing these sites to escape discovery by area inhabitants such as the Blackclads or the various Trocan Kriels. Proximity has led to violent conflicts on occasion, and the Retribution has had to erase a number of remote Trocan villages and Blackclad stone circles to protect their secrets. The largest Retribution bases outside of Ios include an armory secreted in the forest northwest of Caspia, a cave complex off a sheltered cove north of Cyril, an underground bunker northeast of the Shattered Shield Lake, across the lake from Korsk, and in a hidden observation garrison on the Laiz Mountains between Renar and Ladra. Dozens of other safe houses, stashes, and secured mustering points pepper Western Emerald, any of which might be expanded in the years ahead as the Retribution escalates its operations. Efforts are underway to prepare many of these bases to house and serve battle-ready Myrmidons. End addendum. The partnership between the veteran mage hunters and Dawn Guard officers is a strained one, with tensions on both sides. Dawn Guard officers have assumed positions of authority on every level of the chain of command. In turn, the 9 Voices insist ranking mage hunters be present to quote-unquote advise their Dawn Guard counterparts, creating leadership pairings. For example, Dawn Lord Vairos Nyar is the most proactive and prominent military leader from his house, and generally assumes the mantle of overall military commander. His counterpart, Raven, called the Eternal Light, is the highest-ranking mage hunter commander and warcaster. The two roughly enjoy comparable statuses within the Retribution, but their areas of oversight are different. Resentment is common on both sides and can interfere with operations if left unchecked. Mage hunters do not appreciate the regimented and inflexible military style of the Dawn Guard and dislike having orders barked at them. In turn, the Dawn Guard consider mage hunters to be lacking in proper military discipline, respect, and organization. The vast differences in operational styles has not been easy to bridge and are most likely to remain a point of contention as the Retribution moves forward. Leaders of the Retribution. Historically, veteran agents inside Ios coordinated the Retribution's operations abroad. They formed the 9 Voices of the Retribution as a governing council. Only the most senior Retribution agents have had direct contact with any of the 9 Voices, and information about them has been shrouded in secrecy. As the Retribution has become more active, this has begun to change, but most Retribution soldiers still do not have a clear or complete awareness of the identities of their highest-ranking leaders. What they do know is that once the 9 Voices decide a course, they expect nothing less than unquestioned obedience. While technically the 9 Voices are equal, in truth some voices are stronger than others. 4 leaders in particular prioritize retribution objectives and prepare the military to execute its goals based on the gathered intelligence. The most influential is Gaisor Silvus, a leading agent of the Old Guard who has led countless assassinations and espionage missions in his prime. His deeds are legendary within the organization, and he is the one member of this council whose inclusion is widely assumed. Espionage liaison Kelser Yidriel is another respected Old Guard retribution leader. He's a toughened Iosian of venerable years who has helped shape the organization to what it is today. Kirsir served as an Iosian ambassador for over half a century, spending time in the capitals of Signar, Kador, Lyell, and Ord, respectively. He returned to Ios permanently on the outset of the Civil War when the nation severed all diplomatic contact with human nations. During his career as ambassador, his retribution affiliation was kept a secret, and though he has long since abandoned such pretenses, he maintains a number of foreign contacts who know nothing of his true agenda. Council Xeal Nayar and Council Hayes Shiel were until recently the most secret members of the Nine Voices, but that changed when they openly declared their house loyalties. They are 2 of the Retribution's most important decision makers due to the vital nature of their respective house assets. Regular political duties prevent them from attending all meetings, but the council sends trusted proxies when necessary. The remaining 5 voices are less influential overall, but each contributes significantly to the Retribution's success. Quasitor Nysor Vosha was once a major underworld leader in Shire, who oversaw a lucrative smuggling operation with its own army of vicious thugs. Now he keeps track of Retribution assets and supplies, a critical task with the onset of major military operations. Keldakon Sivus Unvarar is a former mage hunter whose injuries in the field have forced him to retire to the Slavash stronghold, where he's become the undisputed master of induction and training. He is responsible for accelerating Retribution recruitment and also seeks to identify new Warcaster talent. The ancient Jamar of Arilinn is a man whose name still causes ripples in Iosian arcane circles, a controversial master of the occult whose techniques are in disfavor by his more conservative peers. No one in the organization better understands the threat posed by human magic, Warcasters in particular, and he bends all of his vast knowledge to their destruction. And leading priest Oracle Rivenar Luminmere strives to ensure the goddess Skyrah is not forgotten during deliberations. Rivenar is arguably the most fanatic and charismatic of the 9 voices, a man of fiery rhetoric, driven by absolute conviction in the righteousness of his holy cause. His clergy works to spread the organization's religious message both in political circles and among the populace itself. His top aide, Orator Linson Bashlavesh, was a member of the conservative Fane of Skyrah before Rivenar converted her, and she has done much to drive a wedge into her former priesthood and bring additional converts to the Retribution. Addendum. What's in a name? Every soldier in the Dawn Guard is a member of House Nyar, in oath if not by blood. Not every person included in this house uses Nyar as a surname. Only those that have a direct blood tie to the original Nyar lineage can claim that privilege. The house includes hundreds of lesser families with no direct blood ties. Over the centuries, these families have been adopted into House Nyar, where they were invited to join the ranks of the Dawn Guard. While these soldiers may informally speak of themselves as brothers or cousins, most of them are not blood related. Arranged marriages between these families can complicate matters even further. A similar situation exists in each of the Haltair, such as House Shiel, as well as the lesser noble houses. Each consists of dozens of allied families, led by the direct blood inheritors of the houses they name and leadership. End addendum.